Hey guys, welcome to my VTuber debut. I'm Serena. Today I'm going to be reacting to the best Assassin's Creed game that ruined the franchise by God Emperor Pimp FLEEKAZOID. I love his videos. I think he is so funny. I have been playing the Assassin's Creed game since 2009 when Assassin's Creed 2 came out. I loved the Ezio trilogy so much. I did take a little bit of a break because I didn't really like Assassin's Creed 3. Then I ended up playing Unity, Black Flag, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Origins I didn't really like. I thought it was pretty boring and bloated. Only played like really a few hours of it. I did actually like Odyssey and I finished the game. I played like 50 hours of Valhalla and couldn't take it anymore. And I probably played like 50 or 60 hours of Black Flag. I did like it. I just kind of like never finished it for some reason, but I thought it was a good game as well. So excited to find out how Black Flag is where it all went wrong. Let's see how this game ruined the series.
When I was a kid, I loved the Ezio trilogy. Never got to playing Revelations, perhaps due to my distaste for endings because they cause sad emotions. And
I get
sad
it.
emotions were something I had to leave at the door upon joining the
Yeah,
Sigma Male
leave them at the
support
door.
group.
Sigma Male support
I
group.
always said that Brotherhood was my favorite Assassin's
Brotherhood
Creed
is so
title,
good.
But after finally getting around to
Love
playing
that game.
Black Flag this month after years of neglect, I say with great remorse that Brotherhood is no longer the best in my eyes. I'm sorry, Bill.
Oh, he just killed Brotherhood.
Assassin's Creed
You're
Black
finally
Flag is a
awake.
yar-har and shiver-me-tea simulator that provides lethal doses of dopamine and nostalgia, 10 chain-killed enemies
The
at
editing.
a time. This game is
I
pure
love
fun
FLEEKAZOID.
at the expense of any challenge at all. Combat is simply a matter of YXXXX, YXX, and yet the whole campaign goes by faster than just
That was a
5
nice
hours of
double
Odyssey or
assassination.
Origins. With naval combat that perfectly
Naval combat.
captures both moments of intense
Shrapnel
battle and
going
moments
everywhere.
of calm commute between one destination and another. They did it so good, in fact, that after the developers saw people enjoyed the boats that much, they decided to turn the whole goddamn franchise into an open world RPG.
Oh, is that what
And
happened?
no, that's not a joke. That's literally the reasoning they gave in an interview for why they massacred my boy. What the fuck? You play as Ed.
So basically this game was so successful because they think of the open world aspect that then they came out with the newer games, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, just because this was an open world RPG. But their new version of the open world RPG is kind of this very bloated, some things it feels like they're trying to waste your time as well. And then a big factor of the new games is not just the bloat, but also the microtransactions. So some of the microtransactions, they are just like aesthetic, but some of them are actually time boosters. Like in Odyssey, you can get this XP boost so you can pay to play less of the game. So they're kind of like creating this problem with the bloat and then selling you the solution. And apparently it is all Black Flag's fault.
With no Ed or Eddie, as they probably died because killing everything you love is something this game's story really enjoys doing.
That's
Ed
what
couldn't care
Ubisoft
less
really
about
enjoys
Creed
doing,
either.
I think.
He's all about that
Killing
booty
everything you love.
and that booty, you feel?
No budget cuts in this game.
In fact, you can actually kill assassins for the Templars in one mission, which
Love
is
it.
kind of straight bussin' on job
Oh my
for
God,
real.
that'd
But I'll
be
be
good.
honest with you here, I couldn't care less about the story in these games. Assassin's
Yeah, I
Creed to
mean-
me is synonymous with power fantasy and god complex. For all
That
I
is
care,
so
as long as
true.
it has this style of combat, you could have George Washington storming Normandy with an M4 to repel the alien takeover of the Nile River, and I would still love it. Which is
Yeah,
why
that's
I
gonna be
happen
the
to
next
believe that
Assassin's
Mad
Creed
Max
game.
or Mafia 3 are closer to being Assassin's Creed games than Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla. And if it wasn't already
Valhalla
abundantly
is
apparent, I despise
the
the new
worst
games
game
with every
of all time.
fiber of my being. Not only because there are open world RPGs that take 3 millenniums of boring ass gameplay to beat, but also because these are the 3 most money-making games in the franchise, and if I had to read one more Reddit post saying if it made that much money, it can't be bad, I was going to morb all over the goddamn place. And I was gonna do a whole rant here about
Yeah,
why
so this is the other thing I want to bring up. So Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla all made the most money out of everything in the franchise. But is that just because of the copies sold? Did they sell the most copies? Or is it the microtransactions driving those numbers up? Or is it really like a combination? I think the microtransactions had to have helped.
Quality, but I think I've actually got it down to about 4 words: Fast and the Furious. So throughout this interview, as I praise Black Flag, I will continue slandering the reboot titles, and I'm not gonna make that argument of the reboot titles being good games but not good Assassin's Creed games. No.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm here to make the argument of shit games and even shittier Assassin's Creed games with as much bias and anecdotal evidence that I can get my grubby little hands on, because I'm here to entertain and yell uncontested opinions at unsuspecting citizens. Let's kick this off by talking about the prologue.
I love it.
Don't worry, unlike Ubisoft, I'll make this quick. If there is a hell, it would be playing the first hour of every Assassin's Creed game on loop, never being permitted to progress any further. The prologue of every Assassin's Creed game has 3 things: an unskippable tutorial for every single basic mechanic in the game, escort, follow, and trailing missions, and a preview of a funny few glitches, just so you know the greatness that is to come. Listen, I love these games once they actually let you get into them, but whenever I think about starting up a new playthrough of any Assassin's Creed game, I almost always decide not to, just at the mere thought of suffering.
Oh my god, the Abstergo part. Okay, the Abstergo part in Black Flag is like one of the worst things I've actually seen in a video game maybe ever. It doesn't start like at the prologue of the game. You actually play a little bit of the game first, and I think after a couple missions, then it's like you're suddenly in the real world and you're at this Abstergo's like office in France, and I think it's just like Ubisoft like self-imposing their own headquarters in the game, so you have to like work with all these corporate French people and then like uncover this conspiracy, and you walk so slow. It is the worst thing. It makes me like never actually want to play Black Flag again, but maybe Fleek will convince me otherwise.
Flag's prologue is a little better as far as Assassin's Creed prologues go, especially in comparison to the goddamn 4-hour-long prologue of Assassin's Creed 3 or the MLG.
Yeah, I could not even get that far through Assassin's Creed 3.
But it's still very important to bear in mind that it's still an Assassin's Creed prologue, therefore it belongs in the hell tier.
I'm glad Fleek is really bringing this up.
Let's talk about what makes these games amazing. What makes these games Assassin's Creed? The combat. The combat is the whole reason I'm here.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
Without this combat, I perish. Black Flag's combat is best described as God complex-like. Chain 2 takedowns together, now 5, now 10, now the entire town square. But what I love about Black Flag's combat is not the fighting itself. I mean, let's be honest, the combat's about 2 buttons deep. You could hand a controller to a small toddler or a competent middle-aged dog, and they could beat this game.
Middle-aged dog could beat
Black
this
Flag's
game.
gameplay is the takedowns. Takedowns are the brutal deconstruction of the enemy in a preset animation that makes my monkey brain very happy. And of all the Assassin's Creed games, I firmly believe that Black Flags ooze the most with personality
and a certain
spectacle that makes them better than any other in the franchise. I'll tell you what though, Brotherhood beat...
Yeah, like just look at... Let me go back a little bit to...
my monkey brain very happy. And of all the Assassin's Creed games, I firmly believe that Black Flags ooze the most.
Yeah, like look at that style. Like it's just like so flowing. He just looks like such a badass there, and like that is just like what's really missing from the new games. I think it's just like this flowing like badassery from the main character and just like taking down like hordes of enemies. I mean, like, when is that not fun?
And a certain spectacle that makes them better than any other in the franchise. I'll
yeah,
tell
like
you what, though,
he's even got better flow than
Black Flag on counter grabs because I mean, look at this Jedi shit. And in
cool.
Unity, the enemies can just take down themselves. I love takedowns
That's
so much that they showed just 2 of them in the trailer for Watch Dogs Legion, and it got me to buy that shit on day 1. Takedowns are right next to leaning in terms of features that will get me to immediately buy a game on day 1 for whatever price you tell me. Because when you add these to a game, it just makes it feel as if you're playing a perfectly choreographed fight scene from a movie. Better yet, this feels like
he might actually be convincing me to play Black Flag again, and it's on sale. It's on sale for I think $15 right now.
WWE match. I tell you, Alex, this is quite the showing today here by Edward. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jerry. This reminds me a lot of your mum's bedroom.
Wait, what? That's not
20 men enter, only one man leaves.
Hey, man, that's
many such cases. Am I right?
There's no turn. Where are you seeing a turn?
He's pulling out the gun. He's pulling out the gun.
And a little bit of chicken fried.
Now, I tell you, that is just unfortunate, folks. Not at all a part of the show, but these are the risks that we take for you folks at home. Now let's talk about firearms. Assassin's Creed has had guns in previous titles, so the dev team really had to up the ante on this one, break the mold, shatter the glass, smack the child, so to speak. So what did they do? They did revolutionize the game by adding 2 guns instead of 1.
Holy shit.
I know, but then they topped themselves once more in an Einstein level of genius.
What did they do? What did they do?
It doesn't get better than 2 pistols. It can't. Well, I have news for you, hater. They added 4 pistols.
4 pistols?
These innovations are as mold-breaking and ground-shaking as giving you 2 swords, or 2 hidden blades, or too many trailing missions. Now, I will admit combat is much more dumbed down in comparison to the Brotherhood combat. To list a few noticeable changes, enemies now wind up their punches like they're Popeye, meaning that parry windows are essentially infinite so that you can walk away from your computer, come back, and still have time to parry. Blocking? Please, come on, don't be foolish. That's what the gun is for. They're also a fraction of the enemy weapon variants, and enemies don't feel as
kicking
fast
someone
or
off.
aggressive.
That's always satisfying.
But I believe that regardless of whether you believe that Black Flag's the best, or Brotherhood, or 3, or Unity, I think that we can all agree that this shit is awful. That's right, it's time to talk about the reboot combat,
Here
which
we go.
I'll be using Odyssey specifically due to the fact that A, I own, and
Odyssey.
B, it's all just about the goddamn same anyways. Odyssey.
Well, hey, I love Fleek. I really do. I think Odyssey is a much better game than Valhalla and also Origins. So remember how I was talking about the bloat before in these newer games? The bloat in Valhalla is just on a scale I've never seen before, and you can't even pay for microtransactions to increase the speed of getting through the game, because they've taken out side quests in Valhalla and just copy and pasted basically the main quest. So there's no way around it. You just have to keep doing these boring ass main quests, the same thing over and over and over and over again. I didn't finish it because I've just never been more angry at a game than I have at Valhalla, and I didn't really play that much of Origins. I was kind of bored in the first few hours, but Odyssey I did actually finish. So he has a lot of good points with Odyssey, but I think that is the only one of the new games that actually has some good things about it. I really want him to make a video about Valhalla just so I can commiserate with someone finally about just how fucking terrible it is.
Combat has this cool feature where you do no damage at all and are mashing every button 1,000 times in order to whittle down that health bar. You are in a constant race between beating a boss and unlocking the exotic trait called crippling carpal tunnel and arthritis of the hands. Each fight feels like you are chasing around spastic zoomers and trying to slice them down with a comically large spoon. Additionally, your reward for a drawn-out make-out match between you and your thick foes is not a cool takedown, but rather some ragdolled bodies and the relief that the fight is finally over so that you can go back to auto running and playing fucking Crash Royale. Shit, sometimes I die just so I can see the enemy do a takedown to remind me of the good old days. And before you go saying that it's a named character and this is how RPG should be, first, that's my point. No one asked for this. Second, let's compare this to a named character in Black Flag.
Yeah, so he does make really good points about the combat. It is kind of spongy in Odyssey, and I get that. But I think it is way more spongy and button mashy and getting carpal tunnel in the beginning. But then as you progress further and increase your skills and upgrade your gear, it does flow a lot better. Not as much as Black Flag does. but it does feel a lot better. And I say, especially with the archery, I think archery is the best in Odyssey because it's just kind of like overpowered, and my brain is kind of broken from Skyrim, and I always just like want to be a stealth archer, and you could just be like the most overpowered stealth archer in Odyssey. Like you could get, I think it's called the Hades bow, that transforms your regular arrows into fire arrows, and then you could get even more gear that stacks the archery damage on top of that, and then so you're basically just like one-shotting people with the archery, and you can like one-shot multiple foes at once. Like you can shoot, I think, like a few arrows at once and basically like knock out a bunch of people at once. And then there's other ridiculous things with the archery, like you could shoot the arrows through concrete walls too and be like the ultimate stealth archer. But in the beginning, I mean, you're definitely like a little bitch that can't like do anything.
Additionally, your reward for a drawn-out make-out match between you and your thick foes is not a cool takedown, but rather some ragdolled bodies and the relief that the fight is finally over, so that you can go back to auto-running and playing fucking Crash Royale. Shit, sometimes I die, just so I can see the enemy do a takedown to remind me of the good old days. And before you go saying,
I mean, it's
that
definitely
it's a
lacking that
this is how
cool
RPGs
style
should be.
from
First,
like Black
that's
Flag,
my
though.
point. No one asked
He's
for
definitely-
this.
he's
Second,
right
let's
about
compare
that.
this to a named character in Black Flag. Fuck you. Black Flag's biggest weakness for me is the incredibly apparent lack of hammers. I mean, Brotherhood had hammer, round hammer, and biggest hammer. And oh boy, these babies were chunky. The crushing, blunt animations, the sound of their bones being turned into protein powder. I loved using the hammer. Black Flag has not one hammer, not even a tool hammer. Oh, okay, alright. All credit where credit's due though. The axe did feel right. Definitely much better than the axe in Brotherhood. But still, in Black Flag 2, when we play as my man Steed Bonnet, come on, hook me up, Ubisoft. Wait, what? They killed him too?
Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure Black Flag 2 was just skull and bones. Like, I don't think we're getting more than that. I think I actually heard from Luke Stevens that they're making a Black Flag remake, which makes me nervous. Like, I feel like they're just gonna, like, make another skull and bones that is somehow even worse. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you agree.
Ah, shit. Well, hey, that's unfortunate. Now let's talk about boats. We all know that Brotherhood has the superior boating technology.
Hey, I love those
Many
gondolas
people call the
in the
rowboat
Ezio
the
games.
Ford Focus of the ocean. Ask anyone. Everyone says this. So now that we understand the supreme outlier above all else, let's talk about Black Flag ships. Boats in Black Flag managed to surprisingly be very fun. And I say surprisingly because Black Flag's map is actually larger and has way more water than Odyssey. So why is it that Odyssey makes me want to take...
I can't believe that. Odyssey's map is so big. There are so many areas that the main quest doesn't even go to in Odyssey. Like there's this whole like wintry area on like the top of the map that I like found accidentally somehow. And then I was like, wait, there's snow in this game? But I can't believe Black Flag's map is actually even bigger. That's insane.
Take a toasty bubble bath, whereas Black Flag
Toasty
does
bubble
not.
bath.
Well, I'll tell you.
Sorry,
starting
delayed
with the
reaction there.
basics, people or crewmates can either be rescued or enslaved, acquired. And I prefer rescuing them
right.
because it's always nice to have that profuse gratitude upon rescuing them. You know, because it feels good to do good, you know? Especially as I shake their hands and look them dead in the eyes, knowing damn well that they're gonna die to my friendly fire about 15 minutes from now. Anyways, Black Flag has some straight bangers built into its ye old radio
does.
called shanties. Black Flag shanties are here, and every other reboot game shanty is all the way down here. Listen, Randy Dandy O has heart and spirit. Fish in the Sea has this jovial rhythm to it, and you can't help but get all kinds of hyped to end 20 working man's lives. Specifically, any shanty from the Sow Island just, perfect. Drunken Sailor, although appreciated, is often quite underrated and talks of the best shanties in this game. It's not quite the best though, is it? Because you see, in '87, Pirates released this, 4, the most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Leave Her Johnny. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of sailing and the bittersweet feeling of ending a voyage. It's also a personal statement about the pirates themselves. Hey, Paul!
Oh my
What
god.
also makes Black Flag sailing so enjoyable is that I actually want to get into combat because of how fun it is to blast board and sink these ships. No cap bussin' for real, this is probably the best boat
bussin' for real.
combat
Oh my God,
in
that
any
hurt.
game ever. And please don't bring up that Sea of Thieves shit that requires friends because we don't do that here. The reason why naval combat feels
Like,
so
who does that?
fantastic is because it takes every last feature it gives you and requires you use it for success in a duel with worthy enemies. And worthy enemies don't constitute as the small ships you can crush on your way to party. Every utility is
I mean, it is a lot of fun to crush those small ships, though, not gonna lie. I mean, if you're just like sailing on your way and you come across a small ship, what are you gonna do? Not just like ram into it and destroy it? Like, let's be real here.
situational and must be used at exactly the right time. Many people call it the Doom ripoff of the ocean. Fire barrels are often used when you completely forget that you have them, so you try to use them, and then you remember why you never used them. Heavy shot is like a shotgun
think
for
I
your ship,
ever
close
used
range
fire
only,
barrels.
and only if your ship is level, because any other situation, and these some bitches are shooting directly into the water. Round shot and swivel shot are the all-time any-range multi-tool slamma-jammas.
I
These
mean,
things get it
so
done.
awesome.
Chain shot is for when you're ramming into a ship and say, might as
love
well use
ramming
this, and
through a
mortars are
ship.
the most
It is the
situational,
best
as in,
part.
I use them in every situation. One word of warning is that
mortar,
if you have a little
that-
dinghy and you're
that
trying
is-
to fight a higher level ship, you will do such little damage that you will begin forming giant clouds of CO2 emission around the enemy ship, and your precise shooting will turn into, I think we're shooting in the right direction. And I haven't even said anything about boarding ships yet. There are three predominant ways to take a ship. Option 1, you can take a few blind swivel shots, then swing on board and kill the rest. This is the real basic option right here. On a scale of
But not bad,
Odyssey
not
to
bad option.
Legendary, this is still a 7. I mean, it's a good
Odyssey
time, but
to
it's very
Legendary,
basic. You
that
wanna be
is the
basic,
scale.
do you? That's where option 2 comes
He
in.
hates
You kill
Odyssey.
everyone on the enemy ship with the swivel cannon using carefully placed, precise,
That's only
delicate
because
blasts,
he didn't play
managing
Valhalla.
your ammo accordingly. This is for the evolved mammals. This is an 8 out of 10 right here. And the final option, and this is for the true red-blooded Floridians that are invading the Caribbean. First, incapacitate the ship, then swing around the front or
Ooh.
back outside of the boarding
that's-
zone,
that's
leave
a
the
cool
helm
move.
of the ship, climb on the enemy
Ooh,
boat,
what's he
and
gonna
kill
do?
everyone on board and complete any other objectives that that specific ship calls for. Once that's done, now hop off the boat, son of a Now hop off the boat, hop on your boat, and try to
Oh, what's he
board
doing
the
now?
enemy boat through the prompt. Bam! Immediate
nice.
take. Didn't have to do anything. Don't even have to go through any cringe loading screens. 20 out
Hell
of 10
yeah.
right here. And if
Nice.
this multitude of options for taking a ship doesn't get you rock hard, then you know what? Just leave the video. And now comparing this to Odyssey, you
I'm
get
not fucking
spears,
leaving,
archers,
Fleek.
and you can ram. Ram and spear enough, and you're fighting a boring battle on a basic ship, chipping away at enemies with no cool setting, no
Yeah,
cool
I mean,
combat, and no cool takedowns.
the ship
To their
battles
credit,
are
though,
definitely
they did add
better
a
in
pretty
Black
awesome
Flag.
flamethrower for boats in the DLC,
But
and you could also knock
the
anyone
ancient
off
Greek
of the boats, and they would be
flamethrower
one shot
is
by the
cool.
sharks in the water.
That's
which I mean,
cool, too.
let's not mince any words. It is pretty beautiful. But to sum up the answer to the question of why I love Black Flag ships, while Odyssey ships makes me want to skydive without a parachute, it's because Odyssey is bad and me no like. So now you know like, or pay for your sin. Black Flag, Odyssey. Black Flag, Odyssey. Do I really?
Yeah,
need
I
to
mean,
say
like, the
anything else? Now let's
explosions
talk
in
about
Black
the
Flag
assassin
just
aspect
look
of
like
Black
so much
Flag.
better
Don't
than the
worry,
arrows
trailing missions
in
are still
Odyssey,
very
like-
much a part of this game, but this time, hang on, get these up on the screen. They revolutionized them. Clearly, Black Flag trailing missions are superior to Brotherhood trailing missions,
Like
Origin
that trailing mission
missions,
that he
Unity
just,
trailing
like,
missions,
showed, if I
anything
can, like,
else. Now
show
let's talk
back.
about the assassin aspect of Black Flag. Don't worry, trailing missions are still very
Yes,
much
with
a part
the-
of this
with the
game, but this
crocodile.
time, hang on, get these up on the screen. They revolutionized them. Clearly, Black Flag
Yeah, this mission right here that he has, this is like the best trailing mission I think they've like ever done. I think you're on like this little boat like going down a river, and then you have to like shoot these crocodiles. And I think you can like lure like the bad guys into like the river so they get eaten by like the crocodiles. Like that was actually like a cool trailing mission. The rest they're just like ass.
trailing missions are superior to Brotherhood trailing missions, Origin trailing missions, Unity trailing missions, and Odyssey trailing missions, because now you can trail in first person and trail another boat in your boat for the first time ever in the history of gaming. And these dumbasses never see it coming. And the AI is 16 times better than ever at doing these trailing missions. Take a look at
Not if
this.
you keep quiet and stay out of sight.
I believe I'm getting the hang of this.
Alright, no one fucking likes these. I'm only gonna try to defend these. I've never tried to play these games stealthily. The whole point of the boomer titles was that you could be stealthy, or you could walk through the front door and just eradicate the entire population.
And who doesn't
of the
love
base
that?
in a
Am I
huge
right?
battle. And I always chose the latter because we ball. However, there were missions that didn't want me to satisfy my homicidal nature. No detection missions are the bane of my existence, and no detection, no killing missions were built specifically to tell me to go to hell. However, no killing missions such as this one right here that would prefer I don't kill members of the Creed are actually false advertisements, frauds, false bills of false goods. Because you see,
Valhalla's
it's
a
not
false
necessarily no
advertisement.
killing. It's no conclusive murder that can be proven guilty in a conviction under the court of law. Accidents happen all the time.
Well,
People trip and fall every day
she just
into
kinda did that,
crocodile-infested
folks.
waters, which then gets their other Creed member
I-
killed for
I have
rushing
no
into
idea.
the water, which then gets the
And the other
person
one
that shoots
goes
that
into.
gator killed because they killed my friend and turned him into a pair of fucking Crocs.
Hey, everybody, did the news get
Now, as far as actual
That's, like, fun,
assassination
though. I
and
mean,
side
finding
missions go,
new
it's all
and
about the
interesting
gun, baby.
ways
I always
to kill
prefer
people.
pulling a Lincoln over using the hidden blades because it's efficient, and it's also funny how mundane it makes the entire mission when you can just walk right up to the target and remove some memories. Now, that's about the extent of my stealth experience, so let's talk about side activities. The assassin missions are just straight up volunteering for trailing missions. This is against every fiber of my being. I may be a touch masochistic, and listen, I enjoy the pain of lots of games.
There's too
but
many trailing
volunteering
missions
for
overall.
trailing missions is just sadistic.
Yeah,
If you
I know,
completed
like,
any
why would
more
you
than
volunteer for
10% of
that?
these, I'm worried about you. Assassination missions, as I've already mentioned, are fantastic. Walk in, shoot, leave. At 50% completion of all missions, you get this traditional looking homeless assassin drip, and at 100% you get the pistol swords. Let me tell you about these pistol swords. They're a gimmick, like the football phone. You
I don't think
seldom
I
get a
used the
unique
pistol sword.
animation from them, and you
Oops.
can't even aim them. Not worth the time at all. With that being said, though, if I have the pistol swords and you don't, then you are inferior to me in every way possible. Swords
I mean, of
are
course.
incredibly easy thanks to the round shot, heat-seeking predator swivel
Looks so
shot,
awesome.
and 62 smoothbore.
Smoke.
On the other hand,
everywhere.
legendary ship missions are, well, I only have this footage right here. After going to fight him very underleveled to get a measly 20,000 gold and getting pulverized,
Yeah.
I manned up and never showed my face at
That
any
was-
legendary ship event ever again. But
It was literally, I think, my exact same experience trying to take on the legendary ships, just like completely getting blown the fuck out by them and being like, okay, this clearly just isn't for me then.
now hunting is a next level activity. You can air
Hunting.
assassinate an iguana, and everything else on
You know-
land is to be shot with ye old
That's another interesting point. The hunting in this game was
firearm.
really
Whereas
cool, and I don't think Shadows is gonna have like any hunting. Apparently, you can draw the animals though.
anything in the water is the harpooning side activity. But listen, if I'm being real honest with you, my favorite type of hunting is hunting for good prices over at my local Cabela's so that I can just buy the goddamn skins and
Of course.
autocraft all of it. Because who has the time to do that bullshit? I guess Fleets is also a side activity, kinda. It was a mobile game, and then they merged it into the main PC game. Okay, fine. I'll keep it a buck with you, Chief. I have no idea how this works, really. Because Ubisoft Connect won't let Black Flag connect to the internet, can't actually use this feature. And in fact, this footage isn't even mine. I got this footage from my boy. So finally, the Mayan
Redacted.
puzzles that unlock Mayan gizmos.
Yeah, this whole
the
part-
only puzzle games I can do are puzzle games
I was
made
literally
by
had no
Ubisoft
idea
employees. But if
what
it's
was
so
going
easy,
on.
why even do
Also,
this trivial activity?
I don't
you
know
ask?
why I was in the
Because it
game.
unlocks the drippiest drip in the game. That's why. That beautiful Mayan armor, which not only allows you to pull up an invisible hood in cutscenes, but also allows you to be invincible to all bullets. Before, I had to
mean,
rely on the AI shooting
being
their own
invincible
teammate in
to
the
bullets-
head. But now, I truly am the god. Oh yeah, and then there are all the collectibles that don't fucking matter. Glitches are the cornerstone of any Assassin's Creed game, so popular that they decided to dial them up to an 11 just for the launch of Unity. In my first 15 minutes of Black Flag, I ran into a game-breaking bug that forced me to restart the mission so that I could actually progress further. In my first 30 minutes of Unity, I saw people walking in the sky. And in my first 20 minutes of Brotherhood, I saw an enemy hardcore parkour into space with one giant leap. But this is tradition. Things like bouncing bodies, enemies clipping into random objects. Oh, look, that's a twofer. Ships rising from the water, or brutes stuck in an endless loop of throwing grenades is what makes these games Assassin's Creed games. Ubisoft is so good at making buggy things that even their own game on their own launcher glitched out so hard that my copy of Black Flag Gold Edition couldn't even register any of my DLC. That, my friend, is dedication to tradition. Take notes, people. Be better. I had to rebuy Freedom Cry on Steam just so I could actually play it for this review. Speaking of which, Freedom Cry is about an 8-mission standalone expansion to Black Flag where you play as the main man Adewale. Adewale is a quirked up beefy boy that went from slave to pirate to now an assassin. But more important than all that, he gets some wacky new weapons. One of them is the blunderbuss, which is basically just a shotgun with the most incredible spread you've ever seen. And hell, hey, why not? To demonstrate this for you, let me just throw up a quick red rectangle that visualizes the spread of the blunderbuss. I'm not lying to you when I say that this gun is so beefy that even when you run out of ammo, you can still bludgeon a man with the empty wooden 20-pound bat this gun turns into. Also, now you have 2 ways to stealth kill. Under normal conditions, you still have the hidden blade, and under running conditions, you have the visible machete. And finally, you have the firecrackers. But do I look like a guy that gives a shit about tactical stealth? No, I like stupid stealth. But now, the new involuntary labor system was pretty neat. Admittedly, I wasn't paying attention and mortar strike a ship of these involuntary laborers, killing 18 folks on board, but hey, we don't need to put that into the reports, do we? Additionally, there are plantations, which I think is one of the best implementations of stealth in an Assassin's Creed game, because it's not that you have to stay in no detection or it's mission failure. It's you can be detected, but if you do, the guards will start killing everyone so fast that you may not have anyone left to save by the end of your allotted kill quota. This makes stealth optimal and preferred, but depending on...
Alright, I'm starting to think that I didn't play these plantation areas correctly because I don't think I was able to make them just like go after each other like that. Maybe I do need to play this again to see if I can make that happen.
How much you need that new ammo pouch. You may just be able to walk in there and do a little bit of troll. This actually reminds me, I forgot to talk about the story of the main game. Big spoilers for this hot new release are going to commence in 3,
hot new release.
2, 1. Alright, good. Everyone fucking dies. Blackbeard dies, James Kidd woman dies, your wife dies. You
That's how it be.
I prize the courage you have inspired in me this year.
And he gets hung and dies. Edmund is still just as dead as the last game. All these people here that I forgot the names of die. The goddamn dog. Nah, he's alright.
Not the dog.
He's a
Yeah,
good boy.
that's what I thought.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what's going on in this story. I just know that in the Animus,
I
you're trying
kind
to
of
get
agree.
money and do the pirating as
Yeah,
everyone
get
around
money
you
and
keeps
do the
dying.
pirating.
And outside the Animus, an Irishman is trying to implant his gotcha anime waifu into your body to consume your consciousness.
No, like outside
Of course,
the Animus
motivation
makes like no sense. It hasn't made like any sense since I think probably Assassin's Creed 3 when they ended the Desmond storyline. I feel like it just has completely gone off the rails since then and never recovered. And then like in Valhalla, they just like made the like Abstergo storyline make like just absolutely like no sense, even more than it doesn't in this game, which is impressive, honestly.
Of everyone in the Animus being to find this magic crystal skull so that they can... You know what? Why don't I just let him explain it? Hey, roll the tape. Here we go.
Hi there, buddy. I obtained the skull so that I can hunt. I am sorry. I mean relocate every one of my old best buddies that I've been separated from by pesky antivirus programs. And look, I found one of my bestest buddies right here.
Nice. And yeah, so that's the story of Black Flag. Man, oh my god, I love FLEEKAZOID. Oh, it's not done yet.
May I have a beer, please?
Yeah, I can get you a beer, you rat fuck!
Oh. Got him. Yeah, I love these FLEEKAZOID videos. I wish he will make a video about Valhalla. It would be hilarious. But yeah, thanks. Let me know any feedback you have for this video in the comments. Bye.